The way I'm going to start is I'm going to begin with the sky. I want to get this backdrop in the sky. That's kind of my major player here to get the atmospheric conditions. Everything else will kind of take off from there. Because if you get the wrong sky going, you get off on the wrong foot there, and you don't feel as well about the painting. So I'll go over here to the palette. I'm going to start out here with a puddle of color. I'm going to take a little bit of cerulean blue. And when I mix a puddle of color, I'm really talking about getting a puddle of color. I want plenty of water and pigment to be able to load this brush up and not have to remix in the middle of painting. I want to have enough in my puddle supply here to load the brush and to move quickly on the paper. Now I'm going to put in a little bit of cobalt violet in this. A tad more cobalt violet. Okay, and now I'm going to go back to the paper here and take some of the clean water. Just make sure I get this brush nice and clean. Take some of the clean water and come back into the sky and just wet the paper here. And I'm going to do this kind of happenstance, just leave some dry patches and some damp patches, so that when I put the clouds in, and they're going to be soft clouds in this case to keep it quiet. When I put the clouds in, some of the edges will be hard, some of them will be soft compared to where the paint falls. When it hits dry paper, I'll get a hard edge. It's a little more spontaneous that way, it's a little more lively, but not so lively that it becomes distracting. Now I'm going to paint the cloud part, the shaded part of the cloud first. I'll put in a little bit of burnt sienna just to cut down this to create kind of a gray, but not a dead gray. A little bit of warmth in there. I'm going to just start out, and I want to kind of get a diagonal going in these clouds, so I might get a pretty good diagonal going, just that they're kind of rolling across this thing, and they open up every once in a while to create the light that's going to hit the ground. So it's kind of an atmospheric day. And I want to, if I paint over some of the pieces here, I'm not going to worry about what happens to those pieces. I can come back and clean those up by scrubbing some of the edges off to keep them clean. So I'd rather have more movement in the sky to get away with more that way than to be so concerned about how I overpaint some of the shapes. Now I'll drop in a little bit of cerulean blue inside some of that. Keep this kind of loose and runny here. I'm twisting and turning the brush just to keep the color dancing. I don't want to stay too long on any one place. I want this color to flow. Now I clean up the palette, get some of this gray off of here, a form of gray anyway. And I go back into cerulean blue, make a puddle of that that's fairly clean. And I'm going to paint in the sky sections that will reveal blue sky beyond the clouds. And I'll leave some white areas on the clouds, so where the sunlight hits them. And I got to be careful how this hits the subject, because I don't want it to appear like this is some kind of dark smoke coming out of a chimney. So be careful what you do when you make those cloud shapes, how they fall on the subject. So I'm just carving out some clouds now. So what's left over from the blue area is the negative shape of clouds, let's say. Here's some more blue sky back over here. I'm just rolling the brush here and having fun with moving the brush quickly, not settling on any one place too long. Now forming some cloud shapes and keeping them fairly simple because I want a quiet backdrop for all the busyness on the ground. And I'm going to put a little bit of ultramarine blue in here just at the top to create a darker dome of sky up above. Okay, we'll put a little bit more color just at the base of the clouds. I'm going to put a little bit of warmth here and a little bit of value thrown in here, which will relate to some things that are happening on the ground. Do a little bit of finger painting. Be careful with putting your hands in the paint, especially with cobalt violet. I'm really being quite rough with the brush now so I don't get hard edges where the sky meets the cloud edges. Can put some right through here. You can see that the clouds are kind of disappearing in perspective. They get a little smaller, the bases get a little smaller as they go back in space. Okay, we're done with that.